Damn it. Just missed it. By barely. We'll wait for this. I still remember back to it wasn't even the old days, it was this summer, when it would literally just be a flash and then I'd catch it. And when I first saw that, now it's just like it is interesting kind of wrapping up the mod looking at this, especially with kind of how things are turning out with this mini game. Oh, did I not save it past that point? I guess wait, where's my save? Oh yeah, my save's here, not this mini game. But it is interesting on this route specifically, this path, this timeline, right? This one specifically is very interesting because, okay, to be fair, in the previous playthrough we did, right? Or in the very last one, there were some differences. We were actually able to pick who to go with after the big freeze, right? That was right here, I believe. Right. This is where we were actually able to pick that. Or I don't even think it was right there. It was here. I don't even remember. All I know is that it's going to be 14 and 17, but that we were able to pick. So that one, that in and of itself was kind of interesting. And showed that it's like, at least it was different from before where we were forced to go with Monica, right? But this one, especially the current one we're on, is the most definitely, this one's the most interesting. Because again, right, it definitely is tainted, right? We still got this interaction. But regarding the rest, and also it's interesting to note that we still ended up going with Monica's book regardless, even though, to be fair, it was different. In this one, it was legitimately the novel, opposed to the supposed retelling of the main game's events, right? Act 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is interesting to note. And then, but even that, along with stuff like this, shows how it's tainted. But everything else, right? Seeing this, right? These going as normal, right? Even us getting this fucking poem, right? Even us getting this poem, right? It really just like, and again, I said that this one would be the most interesting, and that's why I'm foregoing Civ for the immediate time being, because I want to get as far down this as possible. Because even after this, I still want to go back and just spend the weekend with Monica. I guess we don't get it, and even in this one, we don't get to choose whose poem or book we do. So I guess that's not an issue regardless, but I'll still go back and spend festival prep with Monica, see any difference there. But again, it really is interesting to know. It really is. And is definitely, again, like this is really like seriously just super interesting regarding this. But I guess again, you know, we'll see what ends up happening, right? So yeah, we'll see. And again, I guess I don't know. Like honestly, my best guess, the big freeze still happens. But again, and let me do this real quick. My best guess, the big freeze still happens, but there's still two. I mean, we got this achievement, right? But there's still two conspicuous achievements that we need. This one and this one, right? These two, they're not even locked, right? These two, we know that this is probably for fucking because again, like how this one, I think this one was after we had dinner with her, right? These two are probably if we go with Monica during either her route or Yuri's out route, which to be fair, we didn't, or maybe even Sayori. But yeah, we didn't because we were focused on like Yuri, right? And then Natsuki went her route. So, but again, these two are still conspicuous achievements that we need to get. So, and then just whatever's down here, right? So, but yeah, I guess again, we'll see what ends up happening, right? I don't think we've ever, because again, in our original playthrough, I don't think we even had this interaction. Or I think this interaction was like with I think we had it, but it wasn't. I don't honestly, I don't even remember, because if we like, I have a fucking like splinter that I'm trying to get out, but I can't. But if we go back to the original loads, right, we never have this interaction. We have, what's it called, and it's interesting because we have this interaction with Monica and Sayori, which we don't get. We haven't gotten in any of the art playthroughs, and we have this interaction with Ayame. And I do vaguely recall, you know, in interaction along these lines. I do vaguely recall an interaction along this line, but I'm not sure if Monica was there or if it was with Monica or not. So yeah, but again, I guess besides that, yeah, it'll be, again, it's going to be really interesting to kind of see how this plays out, really. So again, it's just, it really is, right? It really will be yeah, it's really going to be interesting. So I guess, again, this is the one I've been kind of ever since, like, let's say this, I wouldn't even say the third. I'd say like the second playthrough, right? Well, I guess ever since I discovered this, right? So from the end of the third playthrough, this is the one I was excited for, just seeing Yuri Monaco, right? I knew that this was going to be the one that, if any, would be different. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, because we are coming up on the moment. So trying to hide something from me, Monica. So yeah, again, I need to speak with him. So this has happened. So this may be exactly what happened in the original playthrough. And again, that would be because, yeah, then again, it seems like we're avoiding this interaction. And same thing with the interaction when it was just us and Yuri and Natsuki inside, but this presumably has happened before. So it probably happened in the original playthrough. Let's see. And again, skip. Yeah, so that's literally this interaction. She's going to be making a terrible mistake. And is this okay? And is this regardless? So go to page 17. Is this regarding Sayori? And I need you to help stop her. Of course, you're fully committed to helping me. Isn't that right? Of course. Why do you sound so hesitant? Come on, give some enthusiasm. It's our big day after all. Our? Of course. You have my full support, Monica. Good. We have another problem to deal with as a precaution. I probably need to tell you in private. And this is a Yame. Are these the fucking words? Are we actually going to get like the word interactions? Wouldn't want the world collapsing because it was a silly mistake, right? Monica puts a hand on my shoulder. It's like, see, oh, wait, what the fuck? Hold on. All right, MC dies. Remember how I left him at the mall? Wait. Have we ever had, hold on. So actually save this on top of this. I don't care about that interaction. Have we had an interaction with Monica in the space room like this before? Obviously we had Sayori ones, right? But I'm not sure we had this I'm not even sure during this interaction we had it. So that's very interesting. And all of this is new. This is new. So again, it's not skippable. And we learned that's not the fucking hair. I originally thought it was the character sprites, but no, it legitimately isn't. We saw that. So it wasn't to go shopping. Though that's not to say I didn't actually go shopping. A girl has to treat herself, You gotta do what you gotta do, right? You might see what exactly that means if we get through this. Anyway, okay. And also, hold on. So a few things break down. One, this is kind of suggestive. Two, and she's still referring to herself in the third person. Someone I know from a long time ago exists right now. So when she was referring to herself in the third person, when we didn't write the poem for her, it was legitimate. Because again, granted, this may be just a mistake, but again, we know supposedly this save is now tainted, and it's saying like someone probably know from long ago exists right now, and we have no insight on this, and they haven't aged. Okay, is it a Yame? Why does this matter? It's probably a Yame, because they could potentially have the same power Sayori, and this is a Yame. That's bad news for everyone, including us. And I still don't understand why it's in the third person, but because they're seeming like, again, and that happened again when we supposedly didn't write the poem for her, which is why I went back. I'm like, oh, this is something weird, right? This just must be a mistake. So I went back and then rewrote it and it fixed it. But now it seems to be like legitimate. So maybe it's something where this is tainted, right? But it's like, I don't know. It has both good and bad tainting. It's really weird. So we need to stop her before anything. I need him to keep her distracted. That's the main thing. And again, this is all referring to Ayami. The more time she spends today alone, the more she can reflect. If she remembers that it's game over, literally, because it's a game, right? Just keep her mind off things that can make her remember. It's incredibly frustrating this is happening. I thought the danger Monaco was talking about was me. And this, wait, is Sayori speaking through Monica right now? And that's my best. Because again, I was curious about the whole third person thing when we supposedly didn't write the poem for her, right? I figured that was just a mistake. It's like, oh, I should have just written it right. It was just something weird, right? I don't know. So I went back and redid. But so is this Sayori speaking through Monica or just like something else? It's definitely not the fucking the taintedness from the other saves, right? This is its own thing. I was sure of it. It turns out I was wrong. I found this out after I left him yesterday. And then so this has to be Sayori speaking through Monica. Monica thought that Yuri Natsuki or Sayori. So this isn't Sayori. This is clearly, is this somehow the taintedness? Like, because even in the original playthrough, we never had this. So this must be related to somehow related to the voices in the offer, right? And then rejecting the voices in the offer, right? Along with giving Monica the book, regardless if we give Monica the book or if we reject the voices or the offer, it ends up turning, that's what this is making me think, right? That again, the voices in the offer, right? What that is that's kind of this other entity, or that's what creates or summons this other entity, right? That we saw in our other playthroughs. And because again, in the art playthroughs, we gave her the book and then we listened to the voices in the offer. But the fact that we gave her the book probably made it irrelevant, right? So, and then even if it would theoretically be even worse if we gave her the book but didn't listen to the voices or the offer, which again is interesting because we played through the other route in that, right? Or with that, or where we didn't spend dinner, right? And then didn't do either of those. And it was pretty much, it was roughly the same as the rest of the routes or the rest of the playthroughs, right? So, but this is interesting because again, this we didn't have dinner, but we listened to the voices in the accepted the offer, which is now what is making me think that that's what this is, right? That's what this, whatever took over Monica and the other playthroughs and was basically, scheming, right? Being evil, right? That was presumably because we made the wrong choices. But that was also presumably, and again, that may have been as a result of the voices and the offer, but again, giving her the book on top of that. So, starting, I guess, what would you call it? Starting down that road or path, and then the rest of them got ruined as a result. So presumably every single one besides that combination, right, would end up like not summoning that, or at least summoning its evil form. And then once it did, it kind of got tamed by everything else. But again, it's interesting because this one we didn't do dinner, right? But we still, again, listen to the voices, listen to the offer. And even in the instance where we don't give her the book and do that, it still ends up the same. This is the only combination of choices which ends up in Yuri here, Monica, which is presumably where this is now, this third entity, right, is being used as a force for good. Because that's what I'm assuming. Because this is kind of bridging the gap. Because I'm like, what the hell is, so this isn't in the fact that we're seeing all four names here, right, in the third. Because again, I thought it was a mistake, right, with that poem. I'm like, oh, we just need to go back and redo it. But no, that's not the case. What this is making me think is that this entity, right, this third party, we created by, again, listening to the voices and accepting the offer, which was only an option by, what's it called? Either in our case, not writing the poems for Monica and then having the option to give or not give her the book. And in ours, we gave her the book and did this. So that presumably was the only release this in its evil form, right? This third party, this entity, right? In its evil form. And then that's presumably in it, like thinking about, that's probably the only way to release it in its evil form. Because if we wouldn't have given the books, right, and then still did that, presumably it wouldn't be evil, right? Because she doesn't have the book or whatever, right? And then what's it called? But in this one where we weren't even have the option for the book, right? It was just, again, no dinner, right? We wrote the poems, or we just didn't spend dinner. And then we had the option to listen to the voices and accept the offer. Because again, that was the only one that led to the Yuri-haired Maka. So presumably in the other route, where it was the only option which led to this entity becoming evil, this is the only one which leads to it becoming good. It's interesting to see because again, it seems as though there's still some tainting going on. So it really is interesting. And again, like this is kind of proving it with all, but again, generally what happens is I speak my mind on stuff like this, right? And then it immediately gets proven wrong in the context of the mod. This is just what I'm thinking, seeing this. Because I originally thought it was just some sort of error, right? I'm like, oh, I'll just redo it, right? And it ended up fixing it for the poem. But now it's like, again, going to Sayori's house was too risky. I already knew Yuri wasn't hiding anything. That only left Natsuki. Okay. Sneaking into her house was rather simple. What the fuck is going on? Maka thought that Yuri, Natsuki, or Sayori would be hiding something. And again, this is referring to in the third person. And like, because again, here's the thing. Because it's incredibly frustrating this happening. I thought the danger Maka was talking about was me, and that's his whatever entity is controlling her, I guess, now. And then again, this is, Maka thought that Yuri, Natsuki, or Sayori would be hiding something. Going to Sayori's house is too risky. I already knew Yuri wasn't hiding anything. So again, this is going back into her house. The MCRI went into her house in this playthrough, but inside I found a journal. Is this the fuck? And was there some, I think we uncovered like a secret route, but the question is how much the tainting has an impact on it. Because here's the thing. I do vaguely recall some sort of journal being in that this is the journal that maybe kind of, because again, we know there's the portrait of Markov, right? We know there's Yuri made the fucking basically, journal with all the personality traits of everyone, right? To give to Yame. there was the original, like, you know, retelling of the DDLC story, right? Act 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there was this like random ass journal that came in out of nowhere, you know, which had all those, I'm pretty sure that's what had all those numbers and symbols on. And then had like the power to prevent people from turning pages. So that's what this is. The first 2 pages were very, very interesting. It's a journal of someone from the previous cycle. And again, so that's what that is, right? Because we knew from the other playthroughs, at least when Monica was possessed by the evil entity, now it seems to be good. But when it was evil, it basically just straight. And when we were, what's it called? When we spent the prep with Monica, right? Inauguration day prep, it just straight up told us, right? Like the story of the cycles and whatnot. Or I think that wasn't even with us. That was with Yuri, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was with Yuri when she was answering, like when they was answering, oh, is the school on a decline, right? And this is it. So I wasn't able to finish reading it all. And again, so this is what somehow Yuri and Natsuki end up getting their hands on. The MC is able to like read through it all, apparently. So Monica's copy and paste was extremely useful. And again, third person. So presumably this is the entity, but good. So it's actually fucking hilarious, right? The set of options that I originally picked for custom start were the only set in order to create this entity but make it evil, right? Which ended up tainting the rest of our saves. But presumably this one, Yuri haired Monica, right, is the only set of options to create the entity but good, because either we don't create the entity as we did in our first playthrough, or like, you know, and pretty much all the rest of the possible options are out. Because if we don't listen to the voices, don't accept the offer, right, we don't create the entity. But only in the instance to where we give Monica the book and then listen to the voice in the offer do we create the evil entity, but only then by denying dinner, right? And then fucking because even if we were to just deny the book, right, and then listen to the voices, listen to the offer or accept the offer, right, that doesn't create Yuri hair Monica. That just presumably creates another route, right? And I think she ends up with the book regardless, so that's still evil, but only in not accepting dinner, listening to the voices, accepting the offer, right? That creates the good entity, or at least that's what I'm calling it, because it seems to be good for now. And then obviously by, you know, having dinner, right, that's what we did in the first playthrough. We don't even get this, so this is completely new, and this is again really interesting. Anyway, I was able to get a copy of the drawing straight out of Natsuki's house. So again, because remember, Natsuki brought it to Yuri, and we still have no idea how it even got there. So maybe that was, I don't know, Ayame, Sayori, Monica before she got taken over by, now I guess what's quote unquote the good entity. I forgot their name. It's irrelevant to me. Who's their name? Let's see. Straight out of Natsuki. I don't know. It wasn't even in the journal. But the point is, someone matching Ayame's. I said that was not Yuri. Because again, this is going back to the previous. Oh my God. Everything's coming together. Everything's tying together with this one interaction. Because in the previous playthroughs, Yuri, right? That was what they were discussing over. Oh, is this Kuro Yuri? And it was basically Yuri's description, but with brown hair. And I'm like, no, it's Ayame, right? But no, apparently, and this is confirming that it was Ayame. So none of those this is so interesting. That's right. The person we only met yesterday, she could ruin our whole plan because she's from the previous cycle. Oh my God. Because that makes so much more sense. Because again, we knew from our, oh my God, this makes so much more sense now. Because we know from our original playthrough, right, that Ayame was from another world. She just doesn't remember it. And she is like an evil personality from another world, which presumably she could have been presumably Monica in the previous cycle, or at least fill the place of Monica, right? Like be in her position. But there's also this random mysterious man. Maybe that could be Seiyu or the MC from the other cycle. Because again, that shows she has to be from the previous cycle. We knew she was from another world, but we didn't know anything beyond that. But this presumably describes her being, this presumably confirms that, you know, she's from the previous cycle, right? Or at least that's what this is implying. And that perhaps, you know, she was Monica in the previous cycle, or she was in Monica's position. And then the random dude from the previous cycle who teleported the MC, maybe whoever was filling the MC's position from the previous cycle. This is so interesting. Because now that the entity is actually working with us, supposedly, right, we can actually, and also, what is this entity? Now it's possible she could just look like that person. It's just, when I saw her yesterday, she felt so familiar. And again, we know maybe this is Sayori from the previous cycle. This is, I don't know what's going on. Like, presumably we have 3 entities, you know, in this current cycle from the previous cycle. Ayame, who I'm suspecting, fill Monka's position the previous cycle, the random dude who teleported the MC probably filled the MC's position in the previous cycle. And then this entity, right? Which honestly, I'm thinking my best bet is that they filled Sayori in the previous cycle. Because we know Sayori, she's the cause of the big freeze. But this entity, also, again, given that we saw it become evil, right? And given that it's wanted to gain the presidency, right? So maybe it's like Sayori versus herself trying to prevent the cycle from happening just yet again. Trying to prevent herself from being the cause of it, right? Maybe in trying to avoid it, she's fulfilling it. And then herself from the previous cycle is trying to prevent that. But again, I guarantee what's going to happen is in a few lines, right? I'm just going to be completely wrong, or it's going to completely prove me wrong. But this is so interesting. And I'm really glad I saved this. And I'm, again, doing an extra recording for Trura, right? Because this is so interesting, right? This is definitely the most interesting path, or like pathway or timeline, right? Even more interesting than our original one. And I'm really hoping that this one may potentially lead, because I have been theorizing it. If there is any that's going to be different, it's this one. And it's very much seeming that way. And again, it's also like, along with that, right? Even if the big freeze isn't prevented, at the very least, there are a couple more Chiefs that we can get, right? Which, again, a new perspective on the inauguration day, learn the truth of the world. That's seemingly what this is, because like we're actually learning where Ayame and then presumably the mysterious man and this entity are coming from. They're from a previous cycle. We just knew they're from another world. We just didn't know what. But this is presumably answering that question. She acted different, but there's just this aura around her. I don't want to take risks. If there's a possibility that is actually Ayame, then we need to get rid of her. And again, so that's presumably based on her role in the previous one. And that would align with this being Sayori and her being Monica, right? Because presumably Trura, like this is kind of what changed things, right? Because presumably the cycles were all just the original DLC story. And if this is Sayori acting against Sayori in the form of the entity, or Sayori from the previous cycle in the form of the entity acting against Ayame, or Monica, who's from the previous cycle, who's in the form of Ayame, right? Then that it would make complete sense. I've already come up with something, but it's going to take a while to get ready, which is why I need a distraction. I just need to figure out discrete ways, but okay, that's very direct. Get rid of these fucking saves. I can't just delete her. Not yet, anyway. Ayame is only one of our problems, though. There's still the main problem, Sayori. And again, but because she would be referring to herself. The plan to deal with her involves the MC, of course. We can capitalize on our feelings for him and cause the ultimate betrayal. Okay, this is, I guess that's being very blunt. Again, well, I mean, because the thing being, right? Because, well, now this is making me think otherwise. But again, because that's something where it's like very blunt, right? But I mean, you got to be that way when dealing with supposedly reality altering threats. After that, I'll finally take what's okay. So now, never mind. Scrap that about them being good and then them being Sayori from the previous cycle. What should have been mine for centuries? So we still have no idea what this entity is. I'm showing with anticipation already. Or we still have no idea what this entity actually is. And there still seems to be some, what would you call it? Tainting from the previous saves, right? So yeah, we have to deal with 2 presidents today. 2 presidents? What is this? I don't know. So that's referring to Ayame. Was she the president in the previous timeline cycle? I have no idea. This is all just new info. I need to like dwell on this. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Aha, some luck we have. But I know we can do this. We will rule this world together. What the actual fuck is going on? We still have no idea who this entity is. I was thinking Sayori from the previous cycle, but that's just tossed out the window. Maybe it's Monica from the previous cycle. I have no idea, but I thought Ayame would have been Monica because now she's referring to Ayame as president. So I have no idea what's going on. We can make this reality whatever we want. What the fuck is going on? This is like a completely different direction from anything we've done previously, which again is very interesting, right? And this is again the last one I'm doing. So I guess good thing to end off on a banger, but again, very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, again, that's just that's very interesting. It really is. It's like, yeah, it's like, this is definitely like even more than our original playthrough. I'd say this is more interesting than our original playthrough. And I'm glad I'm doing this one last, even with the potential tainting. I think the tainting is what makes it interesting. Right. I think the tainting is what makes it interesting. like the tainting with the fucking seeing how the previous saves interact with this one, right? Because presumably the entity like has, even if it's not like to the point of the previous playthroughs, right? They still are, I guess, aware and have their, I don't want to say the same because clearly not. Because even if it's not like the previous goals where they're outright evil, because this one is going in a completely different direction, saying like we'll rule the world. Like I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And this isn't Monica speaking because it's from the third person. So it's like the entity, but not, maybe not just outright evil in terms of like one-dimensional evil, in terms of like fucking, you know, just typical like one-dimensional, right? Just like being, oh, evil, haha, right? This one seems to be more so like, oh, it's still evil, right? Based on what they're describing, but more so, I don't want to say for us is the MC or the player, right? Because like specifically this, we can rule the world. We can make this like that's I don't know. Let's see what happens, and then we can take the next step. I have no idea what's going on because love knows no boundaries, right? Bitch, is this about to come crashing through my computer screen? You know, I've been thinking a lot about you. Okay, so this is like an inverse of fucking MC's Revenge, where fucking whoever the MC got with the fucking who is their own entity got with Monica, right? This is whatever entity through Monica trying to get with us. So I guess it's Monica's influence on me. It's just, this is confirmed. This is 100% confirmation. It's a separate entity. And again, we have no idea what it is. Presumably someone from the previous cycle. Again, my best guess is fucking Sayori from the previous cycle trying to basically, you know, I guess, I don't know, somehow that's still my best guess. But other than that, I have no guess. So it's literally the only guess. And again, it doesn't even make sense because she's trying to like destroy herself, I guess, in this cycle. Not even out of good, but more so just out of, I guess, I don't know, whatever is going on here, this. So, and then same thing with, again, Ayame. 2 presidents, she specifically said, which would imply Ayame may have been in Monica's position the last cycle. But again, we'll see. Her love for you was so strong. She put you above everything else. That's just how much she cared about you. My first priority is to get the presidency. Or perhaps I should say it was. Call me a hopeless romantic, but you are now my number 1 priority. And that's because maybe it's because whatever fucking entity read the book. Maybe that, I swear to God, if I don't get one of those 2 achievements, this is, oh my God, this is literally like imagine like, let's say our original playthrough and the rest of the playthrough we have done up until this point were parallel, right? One was, you know, good up until that point, right? The other was evil up until that point, right? At least regarding, or good or bad. I shouldn't say evil. One was good up until that point. One was bad, right? Imagine they're parallel lines. This one would be a fucking perpendicular line just in a second. I have no idea what's going on. This random, it's making me think it's literally Sayori from the previous cycle. That's my bad. That's my only guess at this point. And then now they're saying this, right? So it's not even just them being evil, right? It's I guess them being evil with us. So it's somewhat different because in none of the previous playthroughs, right? Even in the previous one we did, she said, if only you would have accepted my offer, right? And that's the voices in the offer. So it is just like by accepting those, I guess this is what ends up happening. So again, it's just, oh my God. And if we give and again, even if we give them the fucking Monica, the Portrait of Markov, then that's what releases the evil version. Maybe it's still having an impact on this, right? Or maybe this is just how it is. But in this one, right, you know, they presumably don't have the book, but it's still the entity. But rather than become evil rather than embody the book, it's embodying Monica. So that's why they're, I guess, feeling this way. I don't know. Let's see what happens. This goes against everything I've been working towards. Okay. Damn. So I guess we're everything now. I'm putting you above my goal this entire time. Okay. I must be going crazy. What is happening? Monica's being a terrible influence on me. I have no idea what's going on. Yet all you've done, everything you've done for me just makes me love you more. We've literally not done anything. I've used custom start this whole time. This is like my 10th playthrough. Sure, it must have started off as Monica's feelings, but they're mine now. Okay, so whatever entity is now in love with, like, I see this as a win-win scenario, right? This is honestly a good note to end off of, or a good pathway or timeline to end off of. And I cherish them more than anything. So if for some reason this doesn't work out, then it might be the end of the world. Okay, I swear to God, if we don't get an achievement or 2 going down this route, I'm going to be mad. But if it's not, then it won't be the end of mine, as long as I have you. Jeez, we're going to get the presidency, though. And it's saying knows how it's saying we. So it's not them anymore. It's us or we. Or all my preparation would have been for nothing. And we haven't planned a command in the MC. He's going to want to talk to Ayame. Then our plan is in motion. Okay, there's so much more I want to tell you. So now I'm definitely going to say the fucking words regardless. Are we? No way. I swear to God, if this is the one that prevents the big freeze, I'm going to fucking scream. But we don't have time. Time to wake up. Wake up. What just happened? If this is the one that prevents the big freeze, I swear to God. I swear to, like, this mod will be number 1 on my list. Right now, I think it's 4, right? I have New Eyes, Rain Clouds, Behind Closed Doors. I think this mod's actually up there. Behind Closed Doors. I think Longer Roads, or it's Salvation in this mod. But I think I moved this mod on top of or above Salvation, right? But like if this one prevents the big freeze, it's becoming my number 1. I don't care. Honestly, just toss all those fucking POV mods out the list, right? They don't even really count. So I guess Longer Roads could still be up there, but this one's topping the list if this is the one that prevents the big freeze. I feel like I just fell asleep. Well, damn, wake up. Monica's just sitting there smiling at me. Fucking stay awake, guy. Didn't you want to talk? Turn around. Someone's here to see you. Damn, fucking someone is here to see us. I turn around, I can see Sayori approaching the distance. So that's this interaction. Where is it? So that's this interaction. But again, this is just, I have no idea what is, because in that interaction, this entity didn't exist, right? Because we spent dinner with Monica, right? So, but I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. Sayori, we're over here. Skip through this crap. Oh, we may need to do some fucking save shit. So let's just do here for now. Let's see. Is she what? She forcing you to do this? Bitch, I'm going with Monica. I'm supporting Monica on this. No, of course she's not. I'm glad she's gone. Good. I'm 100%, not even Monica, whatever entity's controlling her. I have no idea what's going on. She's so annoying to deal with. Feigning friendship is just not for me, no matter how used to I am. And again, I'm saying no on, because in the previous one, in the original playthrough, when Monica wasn't possessed by whatever entity is currently possessing her, right? It was still the option for yes or no. Sayori was still suspicious of Monica, and we still had that option. So it's interesting. And even though we said yes, in the previous one, Monica was just like, why the fuck would you do that, right? But in this one, presumably something bad could actually happen if we would have said yeah. But anyway, skip this. This is, oh my God. Shoot, we need to know the fucking words, right? Shoot, have we skipped past the words? I don't know. Oh shoot, I fucked up the words. God damn it. Animum, I swear, did I have these written down? I better have had them written down. And I'm definitely saying them now. Did I? Hold on. Surprisingly, I don't think I actually had them written down. I had go back to where we were innocent written down, but yeah, no, unfortunately I didn't have I didn't have any of those written down, surprisingly, because I had what's it called? I had go back, remember the when we were innocent written down, but I didn't have any of this written down. So here's this. Animum, Omniscient. And again, we're saying these like 100%. Invenience. And then Requiem. There we go. Again, I have all that written down. Again, this is, oh my God, this is going to be so interesting. So yeah, it really is just like this one's been more interesting than even our original one. So wait, he's around the corner. Oh, it's just this fucking dude who's saying whatever. And then this is saying what's best about the club. Shoot, and then this isn't one where we actually, and we get this interaction too. Oh my God, this is the one. We started off with, obviously I'd say the ideal one, but we ended off with the most interesting one. So I'd say the people. Feel compulsion to say something. It's like I can't control myself. Oh my God. So it's not, because here's the thing. Dude, oh my God, this fucking mod, like blowing my mind. Because in this mod, again, these choices for this, because again, we said the people, right? But the choices were actually what was in the form of these words. But in this one, we don't even get the choices. We're just straight up saying them. Oh my God, we're just saying them. What does that mean? And that's it. So again, in the previous one to where we needed to say them through the choices, right? Or the choice order. This one, we're just saying them directly. Oh my God. Aren't making any sense. Invenient. She's about to die. Because if the activation is different, the outcome could actually be different as well. Because when we were going through the original route, I thought it was a kill switch, which is why originally I didn't do it. I actually listened to the man. And because we tested later, when we were saying them through the word order, right? All it did was it dispelled her evil personality. But I can see this one just straight up being a kill switch. Like, given how the entity controlling Monica was talking about it, right? I could see it being a kill switch. Like, something happens and she has like we say this last word and she just fucking like dies. You won't get any of your questions. Is that what you want? I see now you aren't taking this seriously. If all you really have to say is nonsense, then I guess you haven't. Bitch, finish the term. Finish the word. The compulsion, say something. Bitch, say it. Say it. Oh my God, please say it. Still can't move or say anything, but at least say it. Oh my God. We really can't. Oh my God. Bitch, we were literally so close. What's even worse is if it was just the normal. I really thought we were about to go through it for a second. But if it were the original route, right, or the original playthrough that we did, then again, that'd be something to where it's like we could actually say it, right? We just say it through the word order. But in this one, because presumably the entity just tried to force it out, it didn't end up working. This is so interesting. There's so many things, and we said the people, right? I just don't know why I want to ask them. I guess there's no use contemplating about it now. Maybe I'll get an opportunity later. Oh my God. We get to talk in private for a while. How would you even know something like that? Oh my God, and we're here. I don't care about these fucking interactions. I'm curious to see where this is going to end up. Should I go with your, and wait, we're already at this interaction? Oh yeah, because it actually is the day of. Oh my God. And again, we're going yes. Again, yes, I want to see our interactions, right? I want to see what this interaction is going to entail. And Natsuki isn't here too. It's just us and Yuri. And is this going to be her saying? But again, we're skipping through all this. So, but this is making it seem like, okay, so Monica still did say that. So it's okay. So that's actually interesting. So I don't know. Maybe I was too hopeful. But Monica, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I was too hopeful. Just because of how interesting those interactions were, right? But Monica did say the exact same words to Yuri. None of this is different. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. Presumably I was just being, but again, I guess we'll see. And again, after this, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend festival prep with Monica, see if that leads any different. And then that'll be it, right? That'll be pretty much wrapping this up. I thought I get one last word before the play. And again, because after that, I don't think there's really much more I can do with the time we have left. I don't think there's much more we can do story-wise. So, damn, I was really hoping for more. I was really hoping we actually be able to say that. Monica appears in front of me, wearing her outfit for the play. Damn, is this her outfit? I don't know. Appears to be perfect fan her and suits her well. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, what'd you need to tell me? It's about what happened after lunch. Your conversation with Yami. Do you remember what happened? Oh, that didn't last very long. I don't know what happened. The last thing I remember is her just leaving me. Do you remember how many of the words you said? We only got three, and I said three of them. I might have been able to say all four, but she had left before then. Those words just came out of my mouth. Like, I had no say in what I just said. Again, so it's like a response. In fact, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Three of them, you say. I think that's enough to do what I planned. We'll see if that plan even works. That is nothing says so just yet. Because theoretically, because I came across this dilemma the first time around, I'm like, if you say the three, right, you get the fourth. So I said two and then stop there. And it had pretty much zero impact, right? It was only through saying all four that you were actually able to dispel the evil part, right? What do you mean? Nothing you need to concern yourself about with just yet. Things go well. It seemed like nothing happened at all. That's only if things go well, though. Who knows what could really happen at this point in time? Time, get it? How can you tell if things are going well? Is there something I could do to make it better? Well, I'll let you know if anything comes up. You've been helpful so far. I'm sure you'll be of use in the immediate future, or perhaps you'll take your own initiative. Who knows? and I should save. That's just, you know, fucking screaming at me to save the game. And that maybe this is different. But again, even if when this is done, I'm going to spend the weekend with Monica, right? Or I'm going to go back again and spend festival prep with Monica and see if there's any more or any further difference there. So either way, you should probably change your outfit for the play. Yeah, damn. I don't know why you haven't changed it. And I don't really care. It's like, damn, fucking put your outfit on, guy. Just go and do it before the play starts. Okay, got it. I expect you to do your part when the time comes. Not like you have a choice anyway. And again, it's probably just going to go just to fucking time, right? It's time. I guarantee it's just going to go there. So, yeah, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. And this is the fucking drink. The fucking drink. You don't need to tell me that, Seaway. And then what is it? You shouldn't drink that. I wasn't going to take a drink anyway, but thanks. The same goes for you. Honestly, with Monica, though, what I may do is I may just not take the drink. Honestly, I think, well, first, because here's the thing. This just caused her to run off. So I think in this instance, we should try to not take the drink, right? So, well, that's not true. Wait, what's not true? When this is all over, it's just me. Well, but right, hold on. What do you mean? I thought we were doing this for fun. Well, it's just me. Well, that's not true. I can't forget about you, of course. I'm trying my best. We were only able, the MC was only able to get 3, and I said, you know, I actually, in this one instance, I declined it. So, because again, that's presumably what, you know, whatever entity would want, right? It'll be the 2 of us, while the rest of them will be buried underneath us, literally or figuratively. Just a little longer now. You and I will be unstrained by the bounds of this world. Finally be free to do what I want. Damn, that's crazy. And you'll be right there with me when it happens. Bitch, actually breaking through the screen. Wonder what our first act is the rule of this world be. I've actually got like a 5-step plan for if I were to just somehow, you know, gain absolute power and authority, you know, and it doesn't even have to be the world, but just like some like sort of, I guess, what would you call it? Sort of, and I apply the term of the greatest common factor for math, right? I guess it's either the greatest common factor or the least common denominator, right? The greatest common factor to where you can actually have a functioning society. If our any sort of rule of an autonomous like area like that, right? Or an autonomous, you know, zone, I guess. I had a 5-step plan from there to actually like create a perfect society. But so I can implement that. But I guess I don't know. We'll see. I want it to be a decision between the 2 of us. Everything we do after this point, we'll do together. I have no idea what's happening. I guess that's all there is to say for now, is it? Good luck on your part. We don't know what we need to do because I'm saving it yet again. I'm saving yet again. And presumably it literally is just, it's time. So, okay, I was about to say, why is it fucking different? Let's see. Why can't we skip this? Oh, all right. So Monica's still frozen. I have no idea what's happening. And it's so the big freeze again still happened. I guess I was a bit optimistic to assume it wouldn't happen, but it's interesting to see what will happen as a result. Again, skip all this crap. And then Yame still our evil self. So, and again, it's Monica. So, yeah, this is interesting. And I want to see if there's any difference between this Monica, and it's seeming like there isn't, unfortunately. I wanted to see if there's any difference between this Monica and the previous one. Again, let's go to the school because that allows us to get that extra interaction with Monica. So there may potentially be a difference there. So, yep, no difference here. So it's all seemingly just the same, which is kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping that this would be different, but I guess not. So, and then what I'll do is in the next part, I'll go with in the next part, I'll spend the what did you call it? In the next part, I'll spend the weekend with, or I'll spend festival prep with Monica, see if that's any different, which I presume it will be, or at least I'm hoping it'll be. Even you then? Okay, I don't know why that single one was different. So funny thing that this is, again, it's still you're here, Monica. And again, that's so interesting. Like this is actually just, and again, what I'm kind of hoping is that that's the case, but I guess again we'll see. So also what I'm thinking is maybe we need to once we get through all this, we can load back potentially and get that fourth word in, and maybe that makes it. But honestly, I think that's very optimistic. It's only when the game explicitly said we should use fucking strawberries, right? To where that stuff actually works. So, but again, this is just, it really is so interesting. It really is, right? And again, we just have, hey, it's old Monica decline. But again, this has just been so interesting. So this one was definitely the most interesting, but presumably, again, we did the ideal one first. We got the ideal one first, and we got the most interesting one last. And again, I am going to spend the weekend, or I am going to spend festival prep with Monica. So we'll see the sort of what ends up happening with that. Again, it will be interesting. And yeah, we have a fuck off. Give me my time. Leave this memory. Leave this place. And again, it'll be so far no difference in the interactions. Maybe in the end room. Maybe in the end room, right? Take the rope, right? And again, yeah, so let's skip through this, right? Again, this is the same, right? So yeah, and look, even, yeah, they even changed fucking Monica's hair too. That's interesting. That's insane, right? So they even changed Monica's hair too. That's actually pretty fucking funny. And yeah, again, this is still fucking okay. So and then again, I'm gonna, in the next one, what I'll do is I'll spend festival prep with Monica. But for now, I'm just gonna go through basically everything else I could possibly go through, I guess. So, or at least on this one. So we started off where? On page 14. And this was the original one, right? And then this was the weekend, right? Yeah, this is a sign who spent the weekend with. This is poem sharing. So the next time we can even do stuff is here, right? So click I'm evil, right? And again, because this is still on, and again, there's not gonna be that much difference. Could be more different if we spend festival prep with Monica, which is again what we're gonna do. So again, we're gonna do that in the next part. It's just this part I'm gonna wrap up everything else because I don't want to start. Yeah, in the next part or two, it'll probably end up being 2 parts. But that's why I'm not doing Civ today, and instead I'm doing this so I can get this done pretty much. So again, this is still so interesting. So again, I think that's something where they have probably multiple routes planned for post freeze. Honestly, it's probably the case that the freeze happens regardless. It's just the choices you make. And that's my best guess because I was being pretty optimistic and thinking, okay, there may be a difference, but it is making it seem as though, okay, all of these are just setups for different post freeze routes, right? Obviously, we have our original one, which was ideal, right? Which is where, the entity doesn't even exist. It's just Ayame and Monica, because Yuri and Asuka don't even make it to that point. Only with Monica do we make it to that point. So Ayame, Monica, us, with Sayori. And then we have whatever's going on in this route, right? Where like Monica's consumed by the entity, or Monica's taken over by the entity. And again, this makes it seem as though we're good. Where Monica's taken over by the entity, right? But the entity it's not in the form of the book. It's the form of presumably just Monica herself, to where it's something to where like, what would you call it? To where like she still cares and has feelings for us, I guess. I don't know. It's not they want to rule the world by themselves, it's they want to rule the world with us. So, but that's a big difference, right? So again, I'm curious to say maybe the next choice is if we say yes. So maybe the next choice is if we say yes to that. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know what the next choice actually is. So okay, but again, yeah, because I guess what we can do is, or the choice, we have a choice before that, I think, of going with Monica or not. So and again, we're here. So I'm going to say yes just to see if there's any difference. Fastest hand in the West. What do you think you're doing? Are you trying to jeopardize our plan? You can't do this. I know you probably just chose the wrong thing by accident. And again, this is what happens in the original one too. I remember that. I really hope Sayori knows this. And then again, no. So yeah, so that's actually pretty fucking hilarious. And again, I'll go with the R different ones. But yeah, in the next, I'm saving actually spending the weekend in Festival Prep with Monica for the next part. And again, we have this fucking dude, and we still say the words, but this fucking doesn't matter, right? Like this bitch, this nothing. Yeah, this is all just bullshit, right? It doesn't fucking matter. So sure, we do some pretty odd things. I'm not sure if it's always like this, but after I joined, we started writing poems. Writing poems, what way is that meant to be odd? I've done it for myself, or at least I think I have. Have we never picked this before? It was just supposed to be for fun, also to increase our large skills. I didn't really enjoy it at first, but seeing as I joined the club, I thought I'd at least try. It became a way to express my feelings for a special someone. I write in a certain way. I think people will pick up on it. That special someone wouldn't happen to be C or what? Incorrect. Never mind. It's none of my business. Anyway, to this day, we're still doing it. I guess my poetry writing has gotten pretty good since everyone seems to praise my writing. I'll talk a question. How do you come up with your poems? Seeing poems are as random as 20 random words stitched together. Interesting. I hope your poems aren't like that. See, you got quite a lot of praise from everyone else. That's literally what our poems are. I guess the words just come to me. It's hard to explain how I write my poems. After you want my poems, sometime to really get it. Maybe when I'm an official member, I will. Essentially, you said the activities are what the club what is. I read some of the activities again, and this is the notebook, right? She didn't really explain why. From what you said, it sounds like poetry is a way to connect with someone. And write poetry in that way isn't really seen in AR club, so I can see why you chose this answer. What about plays? That's hardly unique to the Lich Club. Drama Club does a range of plays all throughout the year. What makes it different in your club? So these we do aren't really for entertainment or anything like that. In fact, they're not even really plays. They're kind of just short reenactment of a bit from a book we're reading. It's just so we can understand what's happening in the book and are actually taken in the story of the book someone shared. The play we're doing today is different in that it is for the entertainment for new club members. Anyway, the weird thing about plays, something weird always happens during them. Weird, I don't think Yuri mentioned that in her notebook. Kind of things happen during the plays. We've only had 2 so far. In the first one, Yuri completely freaked out. She brought up a knife to the plane, almost attacked someone. Well, she definitely did not mention that. I mean, it's just something you can forget, right? Are you sure you want to be telling me these things? That seems kind of personal. Well, you asked how the plays were different. There's a really way to do that without mentioning what happens in them. Okay, then, if you're going to tell me, please continue with what you were saying. Like I was saying, she brought a knife and I had to calm her down. She wouldn't listen to anyone else. Eventually, I got her to calm down. She collapsed. After that, things were different for years. Like she was a new person. Before that, she'd have these random bursts of hostility, but after play, they're just completely gone. Almost like that. Wow, she's back to Yuri I knew in the first week of my time at the club. Are you saying something happened between the first week and the first play caused Yuri to break down? I'm not sure. There might have been. I didn't notice until it was too late. I see. What about Natsuki then? What happened in her play that was weird? First of all, our father showed up. None of us expected him. Not even Natsuki. I think there was a reason he showed up, but I seem to have forgotten it because we were the ones who caused that, right? Anyway, once he was there, he watched her play. Then for some reason, Natsuki's mother, who had been missing for years, also showed up. They spoke to each other. Natsuki's dad completely changed who he was. First met him, he was this angry old man, but now I can feel that he had changed somehow. Again, both caused by us. We need to take credit once credit's due. Long story short, they reconciled with each other after being separated for so long. You can probably tell how Natsuki is feeling after that. I'm just not sure watching the play changed and why Natsuki's mother showed up. You'd have to ask either Natsuki or Sayori. That's why. I wasn't expecting a simple play to turn out like that. Plays you do really are weird. It almost sounds like they're being used as a way for someone to grow as a person. Damn, that's crazy. I guess they just happen to be like that. I think that's just been a coincidence that ended up that way. Coincidence? Sure, let's go with that. You mentioned having asked Natsuki or Sayori. What would Sayori know about why those two showed up? It's not like they were parents. I don't know. I guess they just thought she would know. The thing about it doesn't really make sense how she would know. You can forget why I mentioned her. Yami looks at me curiously. What about this play? Do you think anyone weird is going to happen? Honestly, I have no idea what to expect. So this thing runs smoothly. If something weird does happen, it won't cause any problems. Thank you. And then are we about to say the words? And mine doing what exactly? You'll see when the time comes. For now, you don't have to worry about it. Now to my second question. What's your relationship like with Monica? Damn. Monica, are we going to say the words or not? Lots of things. She's the club vice president, isn't she? It makes sense to the other normal members of the club are interacting with the higher ups. But I imagine it would be a lot different since you're a smaller club. And again, is this when we actually start saying the words? Still, I want to know. Oh, that's what you meant. Did you think I meant something different? Perhaps something personal? You don't have that kind of relationship with her, do you? No, of course not. We're just friends. But do I want to say it like that? Of course. I'm just messing around with you. Now I get on with my question. Okay, let me think. Monica and I are kind of close in the club, at least compared to everyone else. Monica and I know each other. When are we going to start saying the words? Because again, this is all skippable. So what I'm interested, I want to see when we start saying the words. So hold on, skip. Okay, so what ends up happening? Okay, yeah. So we were about to actually say again the last word. We got close, but so that was interesting to see that that was different. We never ended up doing that, but yeah, again, that is very interesting. But and then for this one, we're gonna say no. Yeah. Oh, what the fuck was that? I don't know. But yeah, again, this is been very interesting, right? Yeah, definitely glad I forewent Civ for because I figured like, okay, now is the last opportunity I have, and I forewent just to make this last push, right? So I can get everything I want to done in this, and it seems like that was definitely the right choice. And again, no difference here. So I'm thinking if there is a difference, it's us spending the festival prep with Monica, right? Or inauguration day prep. That'll be, but again, honestly, it's probably just gonna lead to the same thing. I'm just hoping we get another achieve. I'm hoping we get another achieve. So yeah, I really am hoping to get another achieve, but I guess we'll see what ends up happening, right? Because there's guaranteed to be some differences, but it'll be interesting to see just how much of it's different, right? Because even right on like the playthrough where we got the make a choice that doesn't matter, right? Even that was different. So yeah, even that was different. So I guess I don't know. And let's take the drink this time. Or honestly, I'm gonna decline it just to be safe. So like actually decline it. So not just fucking say whatever bullshit, right? Yeah, honestly, I don't even need to waste. No, 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 no. Yeah, I don't even need to waste to save on this. Just fucking yeah, just straight up decline it. So yeah, again and again, this is like honestly, this it really is interesting. It really is. So it's time, right? Skip to the time freeze. And again, it's also interesting to note that this route, the only what's it called? The only one we can bring is Maka, as opposed to the R one, where that was the one where we could bring everyone. Of course, this time we're bringing Monica. So I mean, we still are. So well, I guess yeah, we don't have a choice. But even so, I would only bring her. So yeah, I'm not interested in like anyone else pretty much. So but again, this is it is really interesting. And again, for this one, we can go to Monica's house. So and again, this one's interesting. So like it isn't even say or well, I guess shoot, no, it says her voice, like that's normal. But again, what's interesting is that what it'll be interesting to see if there's any differences in festival prep with Mock. And again, presumably there would be. Because even in the one where we got the achievement for make a choice that doesn't matter, even that there was even with and that was I think the previous one we did. Even with that, there were some differences. I imagine that this one especially will have. And again, it will be so interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be so interesting to see. So yeah, and again, we're just so seemingly zero difference here. I just want to confirm, right? And then yeah, again, the last one, all we have is just festival prep with Monka on this round. Again, we ended off with the most interesting one. We started off with the ideal one. We ended off with the most interesting one. So yeah, neither of them matter. So oh shoot, maybe we should have said I love you in this one because that could have actually potentially. It doesn't fucking matter at this point, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I could test that in the very last one because I assume that one will still lead to the big freeze regardless. I'm still curious as to what those two achieves are though. But yeah, there's just so many options, right? Like this mod is a demo is more extensive than most actual mods. So again, it's like it's very interesting, very interesting. So yeah, again, it's so interesting, right? Let's see. And again, we're gonna get this option. Is it gonna come up? Please. I don't want to wait all day. Okay, there we go. I was like, yeah, and again, this is just again, take the rope. I'm not spending any more time. I noticed this, but it's funny how she comes into here originally with her hair, and the MC doesn't even point that out, right? Yeah, she comes here with her normal hair, but then when it breaks the illusion, right, it's her with this hair. So, but again, it's so interesting. And again, it's going to be interesting to note, like this. I guarantee this last one, Festival Prep with Maka, it's going to be so interesting, or it's going to be the most interesting, right? I feel like that's going to have the most potential. Like, and if there's any combination that potentially subverts the big freeze, right, it's going to be that one. And again, there's still, what I'm looking at is these two achievements, right? The truth and then our perspective. But again, for this one, it's like, what's it called? Yeah, even in this one, there are some differences here. This one, I don't know what that's going to be. Yeah, again, I could go through, like, try to get all of these, but again, right, like, what's the point? Like, it would, yeah, honestly, it would literally take like all of winter break to try and do that. And there's no guarantee that end up happening regardless. But yeah, again, and this isn't an old one. This is from August. So, because that was when I downloaded it on this computer. But again, besides that, right? Yeah, it's so interesting. Again, I'm really glad. I think we started off with the ideal and we ended off with the most interesting. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, I'll do 2, maybe even 3 if it comes down to it in order to get it done. Just to see, what happens. Again, we'll go back to page 14 and then again, go back to here and then spend the weekend with Monica, or spend inauguration day prep with Monica. And again, it'll be interesting to see how that ends up. But yeah, I guess besides that, yeah, I don't have anything else. So yeah, yep. Yes, that's it for this one. See you in the next one.